doing?
Hey, Gordon, doing great, man. How are you today?
I'm good. I was playing Alan Wake, a video game about a writer who gets like his stories come to life in a weird way,
Mm-hmm.
and they wreak
Mm.
havoc throughout his town.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be which I'm gonna play probably during my video game. Yeah, so hang
Mm-hmm.
on. Okay, now we're good.
Okay.
So what I've been reading a lot of DC stuff because they have the new DC stuff on Fortnite. You don't play much video games, right?
Not a lot. I'm familiar with them all. I watch them. Um, I always thought it might be something fun to get involved with some of the competitions,
Mhm.
doing some of the team games. So I know that that's probably one of the fastest growing sports out there. So it's something I want to look into. But myself, I don't play them a lot, but I think it's a good commercial opportunity.
I think with the video gaming industry, it's just crazy. Like you have the COVID pandemic, and then everything shuts down, and multiplayer video game is like the hottest growing ESP sport to play, or not ESP, but because with COVID, it's really I've met a lot of people on Fortnite who've just joined because of COVID with the lockdown and everything. Like I couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
My friend
Oh, yeah.
who is a girl joined Fortnite as well because of that reason.
Mm-hmm. And
And
I've seen a lot of good social interaction with the Overwatch League, which looks like a lot of fun too, where a lot of people will get together for those team competitions, and they'll fill up a bar or restaurant and make kind of a shared experience out of that, where you're playing a video game against someone else in Tokyo, but at the same time, you're at a bar or restaurant with your friends all cheering for the same thing. So there's a lot of opportunities for it.
yeah, and I've been so what so what did you think of that Buzz Lightyear series coming out?
Oh, that looked amazing, man! I can't wait to see that. It's such a good idea too. The graphics looks great on it. The storyline is going to be fantastic, and they'll be able to bring in so much momentum just because the storyline's already established. The characters there, everyone's familiar with them, so they're going to get to capitalize on all the momentum, which is the hardest thing to get already. So that's going to be a blockbuster, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited for like I don't know if you caught it, but you saw his Invader Zod's army in part of the trailer when Buzz Lightyear is walking around. I love that Chris Evans is playing the voice of this Buzz Lightyear character. Like I even remember watching the old animated. I think he was called Disney XD or Disney Toon Disney.
Uh-huh.
Um, they had this like Adventures of Buzz Lightyear series on Disney, and it was so fun just watching them. And so now they have like this new movie which is supposed to be good, and it comes out in June of next year. Um, I really love. So like, what kind of superhero comics are you into?
I'm more about. There is a lesser known comic book that, and this is probably 10 years old at this point, but there's a comic book brand, Malibu Comics, which were my favorites of all time.
Mhm.
And they had a couple heroes there. One was called Prototype. Another one was called Prime, and those are my favorite dudes. So I don't know if they're still around. I think Malibu might have gone under now, and it's just the big ones. But those were fantastic. And the character Prime was a teenager who somehow was gifted with this ability to become this super monstrous, superhero. Like all of a sudden, sort of like the Incredible Hulk, where when he needs to, he can turn into this unbelievable with all the superpowers of your typical Superman type thing. However, after he takes too many hits, like once he gets really smashed up, eventually, that capability to become a superhero kind of melts off, and he like plops back out as this teenager. So it's kind of cool that he gets these amazing superpowers, but at a certain point, if he gets beat up enough, like that's the end of the road, and then it takes a little while before he can rebuild the ability to become that super. So it's super exciting to see if he could do that.
It almost sounds like Shazam in a way.
Yeah. Yep.
You ever seen that movie?
Oh yeah.
That was a great movie. I love that Christmas themed. It's probably one of my favorite DC or just all time favorite Christmas themed superhero story, and you really see this Billy Batson go through like a Peter Parker stage where he's a kid who is a teenager in school, and yet he has all these powers and abilities. But he learns the great responsibility of powers through a different way, where it's him being an orphan.
I love that storyline.
Yeah, and I really love gosh, what was my other favorite? I mean, they're making like a whole bunch of other storylines. I was even reading during Halloween after me and my friend Noelle went and saw Venom Let There Be Carnage. I started reading this graphic novel event called Absolute Carnage, where Carnage goes after everyone who's ever worn a symbiote, and it involves everyone, and it's so much fun. Really horrifying too. And and now I'm reading because they have that new Joker or Batman, the Batman Who Laughs in DC Comics. I'm now reading Batman the Joker Wars, which is like a Batman versus Joker kind of issue going on, and yeah, I mean, I'm not too keen into Marvel movies anymore. I'm not even excited about. I mean, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews of Eternals. Like some people are saying, like, what do you think of Eternals?
I haven't seen it yet, but I knew that we would reach a saturation point at some point. Sooner or later, I had to know, and they knew too. There's going to be a point where everyone's inundated with superhero movies. They can't all be blockbusters like this. Each one, can't be a universe-threatening, existential, good guy, bad guy. Eventually, they would need to change up the story a little. So it's possible that we're reaching that point right now where people have seen enough superhero movies finally where they're saying, okay, that's enough. We need something that's a little bit new. Maybe that's what we're experiencing here.
Like Lock and Key on Netflix.
There you go.
Like that's very new, and that's actually based on a graphic novel. But I sadly don't have Netflix anymore because of expensive reasons. I find it like a little expensive. What do you binge watch?
There's been a couple. Walking Dead has been the one that I've been all about for years. It's been the one that they have recreated themselves very well many times. So people haven't gotten tired of that. There hasn't been fatigue because they've managed to change up the characters. They've managed to change up the storylines. bad guys sometimes.
Really?
Introduce new threats all the time. Yeah, people that start out as being introduced as on the good side. Eventually, you can start to see them. They'll get corrupted, and they start to do some things to make you question them. So, and all new threats all the time. Um, not just here's another bad guy. What are we going to do? Each one is a whole different set of circumstances. Each one is I don't know how they're going to get by. And then what also keeps it really fresh is that they're not afraid to kill off some of their key role characters. So, it started with this group of 12 survivors who are all going around this camp. And now, at this point in the show, there's a whole new camp of other people that have been introduced, but there's probably only 3 or 4 people who were on from the original series. So they've done a real good job of, not being afraid to remove some of their most popular characters and then introducing new ones, too. So
Yeah, it's really crazy with it being so like out of this world. So you're more into the zombie apocalypse kind of guy?
I'd say so. Yeah, that's been the one that, no matter what else is out there, The Walking Dead is the one that is like, I got to be home on Sunday night. I got to see this.
Yeah, my yeah, even Fortnite is getting into it because they have like an upside down, like in what's that one series, Stranger Things, where they have the upside down and there's monsters crawling out of it. They even have they brought in the Resident Evil characters because they had that new Resident Evil movie where we see and it has a pretty good cast. I mean, did you see the new Resident Evil? It's called Resident Evil
No.
Welcome to Raccoon City.
I'm not. I haven't seen it. I'm familiar with it. I've seen the previews. I can't wait to check it out, but I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. But I know that is top-notch stuff. That one and another one of my favorites of all time has been Silent Hill. I don't know if you ever played that video game or watched the movie, but man, that was one of my favorite. Like the freakiest out there, the best design, the best writing, and a really entertaining storyline too. Were you ever into Silent Hill?
I don't think so. I know that Dead by Daylight was had like a DLC thing going on where you would uh play a survival horror. I don't know if you heard of Dead by Daylight. I played a little bit. I think
So.
last year. Yeah, and
Yeah.
there was like a series. It's kind of like you have to get out of there, like escape, and one of you is it's a PvP where one of you is the killer, one of you is the character, the villain, and the group of the other players have to play with other people, build together, try to escape, and they did have a Silent Hill um, type video game. I wonder if there's even one in the PlayStation store. I wonder. Um, yeah, I don't know. So, have you watched any good horror movies lately? Scary?
Yes. It's October, so it's the time to watch all of those things.
Yep.
We actually, we watched one that it's not a horror, but there are some scary moments to it. And it's a really cool, like, psychedelic type movie called Nine Perfect Strangers, and it's actually a miniseries. And that has to do with these two, the main character and then his family, that both of their children unfortunately suffered untimely deaths, and these families were trying to cross over and contact their deceased children just because they missed them so much, and they were able to do so with the use of psychedelics. So they would take these micro doses of mushrooms and other specifically prescribed psychedelic drugs, and over time, they're able to slowly start to see their loved ones who passed away and eventually contact them. And by the end, they find like the perfect dosage where they're able to actually like interact with them. So it's kind of, it ends up being a really, I don't want to ruin too much for you, but it ends up being a very happy ending. But certainly has some kind of cool, scary parts to it too. And then some parts too that will have you thinking, like, is that really possible? I wonder if that can really be done. That's really cool, where it starts to cross over from sci-fi into reality. So I really, really like that one.
Yeah, my mom is actually has been thinking of watching that Nine Perfect Strangers. I mean, it has a really cool. It has a really great cast. I mean, it even has the woman who played the mother of Aquaman. I forget her name. But I heard that they are starting production on Aquaman 2, and it's now called Aquaman the Lost Kingdom, and it's supposedly going to be centered around the sinking of what happened when Atlantis fell. So I'm really excited for.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see.
That could be maybe remember in Superman, the Man of Steel, where those the living inhabitants of Krypton, the three of them came back and challenged Superman for the superiority. So I wonder if it'll be something similar to that.
You mean Superman and Lois?
They find Atlantis. For the new Aquaman movie, I wonder if it'll be something like that, where the original occupants of Atlantis resurface and end up, trying to destroy the human race.
Yeah, well, that would be kind of a repetition because that's who his brother was, or half brother.
That's right.
So I don't know if they're gonna do it that way because that would be repetition. I would really love to see Black Manta become part of the Suicide Squad because in the New 52 he actually becomes part of the members. I remember watching a Suicide Squad movie. I don't know if you have HBO Max, but it's on HBO Max. It's called Price to Pay or something.
One. Loved it. Maybe the first two.
Yeah, I loved the first one. I thought the first one was really good. I really love the extended version, the extra hours, because that really dived into like what was going on. I loved how. Yeah, so I'm really excited for the new Suicide Squad video game. If you've never heard of it, it's called. Yeah, isn't that crazy? They had to kill the Justice League.
Yep, I know. Yeah, it is so funny when they turn it upside down like that, like things that we would never dream of in the past. But that's just what they have to do to keep it relevant. You can't just change the characters, change the costume, change the name. Need to have a storyline like that just totally messes with people's minds a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got inspired by the new. There was like a graphic. I remember reading it. I think it was called Justice League versus Suicide Squad, and maybe that's where they pull it off from. But yeah, that really blew my mind because seeing LexCorp in parts of the Batman Arkham Knight game, you saw pieces of Lex Luthor, and people automatically thought, oh, they're creating a Superman video game, and it's not. It's a Suicide Squad video game where they're going after the Justice League, who are being corrupted by Brainiac.
Yep.
And yeah, that seems really funny. Like, what? So you really kind of see sort of what goes on, and yeah, so I'm really excited to get that video game out. Yeah, my next superhero video game is definitely gonna be uh Spider-Man Miles Morales, because Christmas is coming out, and I'm definitely gonna. What do you think of the new Spider-Man movie that's coming out, No Way Home?
I think that looks good too, and I've really enjoyed all the Spider-Man movies because they change them up enough too, and those are really ones that they expose kind of the humanity of the characters more than anything else, where they really show, whether it's Carnage, Venom, or Spider-Man, like they really get into the personalities of the individuals a lot and all of the conflicts that they experience in their own personal lives. So it's much more than a superhero, and in most of those too, it's usually kind of a burden having those superpowers. So rather than it being just about good versus bad, hero, non-hero, anti-hero, all the Spider-Man movies have been so good about showing the personal conflicts and the struggles of the individuals that have them just as human beings.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I loved Homecoming, but I have to say, Far From Home was by far the worst Spider-Man movie in my opinion. It didn't live up to who Mysterio was to me. And I'm sorry for the spoilers, for those listening. He was a guy who used those tricks that you saw in the video in the movie as a way to steal things, as a way to be a thief, not trick people into thinking he's a hero. And like, I honestly don't know if I enjoyed that movie. My dad and I, we both went and saw it, and we both walked out like, what the fuck? I mean, it wasn't really my Spider-Man movie. I think it's actually the worst version of Spider-Man we've seen. I do love the Zendaya and Zendaya's character, Mary, or MJ, and the Peter Parker romance. I did love that, especially in Spider-Man Homecoming. You saw a little bit of that. You didn't see a whole lot, but you saw in the end that she had a thing for him. And so I'm wondering what this, third installment, I guess. And I'm wondering if, like, in the trailer when you saw that big black thing go after Parker in the tunnels, if that's Venom. Actually.
That's what I assumed. Yeah.
Yeah, like you just see this black thing come at him, and once you see what happened in the end of credits of Venom Let the Carnage, you're like, that's who it was.
Yep.
So, are you a huge Spider-Man fan?
I'd say so. I really liked right as the movies gained popularity and started to enter the scene. I loved all of those, and now like you said, there's a couple flops out there. With being Far From Home was just not a hit because probably they've taken so many swings at it, so many different options, they can't all be winners like that. But Spider-Man was always a favorite. Loved that story, and the sacrifice growing up, and how tough it was for Peter Parker. Being that he lived with his aunt and uncle, so you already feel for him like that. And feel like that Peter Parker always showed the burden of being a hero more than anyone else.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do for a living? Do you write, or like what is your website about?
I own an experiential museum called Wonder Cleveland. So it's one where folks get to come in, and instead of just looking at pieces of artwork, like in a typical museum, people actually get to become the artwork at Wonder Cleveland. So with various pieces of technology, augmented reality, laser projection mapping, things like that. When you walk into a room,
Tony Stark
you'll
stuff?
see a 20-foot. What's that?
Tony Stark stuff?
Sort of. Yeah. You'll see. One of our room is so each room is a different environment. One is designed to be like the interior of a spaceship. Another one is a rainforest. Another one is like you're walking inside a volcano. And then we have a beach. And then we have one that's just a straight up Instagram museum where you get tons and tons of awesome viral Instagram photos that you get to step inside of. So in each one, it might be something different. You walk into our space room and, you'll see the stars moving by you and, you'll see and hear the intergalactic space noise. And then when you walk into it, all of a sudden, you'll see your own silhouette appear up on there flying through space. And it mimics and imitates everything that you do. And when you move your hands a certain way, you get to shoot the stars out of your hands. And it provides just some of the most amazing videos for Instagram or just, good, fun experiences for everyone to do together. So it's a lot of high-tech, fun things to experience, but it's also a lot of hands-on, just fun, hangout type places where people can go and have fun as a group together.
Yeah, so you have like a real I think I've been in Wonder. I wonder if I've been into your museum. When did it open?
July, and this is in Great Lakes Mall in Mentor. So if you've been there, there's not really anything like it in the city of Cleveland. There's, the Living Van Gogh is similar because we both do a lot of custom projection. And then there is a similar one in Columbus, which really knocks it out of the park, called Otherworld.
Otherworld, huh?
Yeah.
I've heard that they had like yeah, yeah, that's really cool that you have that. So like you do this huge museum in Cleveland, Ohio, and it becomes yeah, so I wonder if I'm gonna go there because I know a buddy of mine actually got season tickets for a museum, and I wonder if I'm going there.
Nice.
But yeah, that seems awesome, like augmented reality. So you're all about the science and like, yeah, that's really cool. I remember one time Mickey went into Mickey and his friends. This is like on Disney Plus. It's like the wonders of the wonderful life of Mickey Mouse, and Donald Duck, Goofy, and Mickey went into this house that I forget that one doctor's name. He's like a duck. Um, but he created this artificial intelligent house, and apparently the guys felt like something was wrong, but it really was just them, and they apparently end up breaking the house. Yeah, it was pretty funny. See,
But yeah.
yeah, so this is like a huge museum of science and cool stuff. Like I remember hearing on even on Cleveland we've had some UFOs and some like weird science going on. So what do you think about that? Because I've been writing a stories based on the idea of paranormal activity going on in Ohio. So in science, I've been writing sort of that stuff. So I have like a huge storytelling of just you got people, and it's all incorporated with political stuff too, like Black Lives Matter, um, sort of that stuff. It's nothing like, so what do you think of that stuff? Do you think like, there could be like paranormal, like science, UFO stuff going on in Ohio?
For sure. And, if it's going to occur anywhere in the world, there's no reason that it wouldn't be in Ohio either. So, we'll never know the rhyme or reason. Not in our lifetime, who knows? But, we won't know where that occurs. So it could be anywhere. Now, I haven't experienced anything like that in Ohio or any other state, but um, there's no reason why it wouldn't. I think Ohio is a perfect spot for something like that, too. And I think it's naive to think that there wouldn't be any other life out there. So, um, if it happens to be that there's aliens out there for some reason exploring or trying to contact or anything else, definitely why not in Ohio where we have a good mix of rural land as well as some highly dense population centers as well.
Yeah, really. So I've actually incorporated some of that in my stories. I'm writing a new one. I'm actually continuing it, I think. I don't know if I finished it actually. But I'm going back to where I'm writing one based on schoolmates of mine that I went to school with, and it's turning out really funny because it's my perspective of how high school drama was for me. Those typical, like, you ever heard of Riverdale or Nancy Drew? Like, that kind of
Yep.
has that
Oh,
high
yeah.
school drama thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we really dive into that idea of my perspective of what it's like, and I do make it goofy, but make it still dramatic, make it entertained.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah,
Excellent. Yeah,
I'm
that would
really,
be really cool, and I'm sure that to me seems like something that people would just eat up. People love Ohio history, they love Ohio stories, and everyone outside of Ohio, inside and outside of Ohio, loves good stories about paranormal and aliens. So yeah, um, that would be a great seller, I'm sure, and probably some interesting topics to go over in the podcast too. Once you have some stories that you investigate a little bit, there's a lot that a lot of people have heard of too. So if you take a deep dive into those and pull out some information, I know that that's something I'd be interested in hearing in the future.
yeah, I actually just, like last year got in contact with my editor and said, start editing them, please, because, I was a little, apprehensive about the idea of doing it, because at the time everyone was about the Avengers,
Mm-hmm.
Infinity War, Endgame. So I thought if my stories come out now, they would
Mm-hmm.
not sell at all. And it really,
Yeah, I think that's a great topic, man.
yeah, and I do like a whole, like, yeah, so do you get vaccinated?
I did. I decided to go for it too, just purely so I could see my parents. It was tough not seeing them for such a long time. So without getting, probably I maybe should have done more research on it too. But before diving too deep into it and trying to figure out what's best for me, I just knew if that's what it takes in order to see my parents, then I'll be down for it. So I went ahead and did that, and
Yeah,
have not experienced any problems.
yeah, it's not pretty getting COVID. Trust me, I've had it. My mom and her boyfriend got it, and it's like pneumonia and the flu, or when you get the flu shot, you feel sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really like hits you. I even missed like
Real bad.
oh yeah, I even missed like a whole month of November, and I couldn't
Wow.
even spend November with my housemates. Thanksgiving. I missed their Thanksgiving, and I wanted to spend it with
Mhm.
my housemates.
Mhm.
Um, so now this year, with me being vaccinated, fully vaccinated, I'm thankful that I get to do more. I even now
Yeah.
have a beautiful girl in my life, and
Mhm.
she's just been really supportive. I mean, it was a little rough in the edges, but like it's been really good. We're taking it very slow. I don't know how the relationship is, but yeah, we do plan on going on the Polar Express train thing. Cause why
Nice.
not? Cause we both love trains actually. Um,
Mhm.
so like so yeah. So your hobbies are like more into science stuff.
A lot of it. I'd say it's more an entertainment.
Yeah,
I
me
spend most of
too.
my time trying to build fun events for people. So whether it's this interactive museum or whether it happens to be a sporting event or a major concert, uh, it ends up it's my occupation, but it ends up being my hobby as well.
Yeah, I love that's why I did this YouTube channel, was not to entertain but to build awareness. I always loved making a difference, reaching out to people. I've been doing this YouTube
Mm-hmm.
channel for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if I made a big impact because I still have 250 or 60 or 70 subscribers, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been like trying to just talk and just socialize through this pandemic with it turning into a
Mm-hmm.
podcast. So like I really appreciate you
Yeah.
reaching out and coming out, and there's anything you want to like come on and say hey or just talk and us just talking, that's cool. We could talk about like I don't know, the weird stuff in Cleveland. Man, there was something in Cleveland. Like, did you hear about that radio host that passed away last night?
Yeah, that's too bad. I've known that guy. Well, I haven't known him personally, but I've been listening to him on the radio for my whole life.
Yeah, his name is what now?
Mike Trevisano.
Mike Trevisano. Yeah, the Mike
Yeah.
part is easy to remember. The Trevisano is not.
Yeah, he was an icon, man. He was. Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, did he die of a heart attack or something?
I actually didn't see what was the cause of death. I know. I just, most of all the posts and everything didn't mention the cause of death. They just said R.I.P. and talked about the good things about him.
Yeah, I just was really sad. I even talked about it on my Twitch channel. I don't know if you know what Twitch is, but it's kind of like most of it seems like a video game, but there's a lot of people who are out there on YouTube or a lot of people on Twitch just doing what I'm doing, podcasting, talking,
Yep.
what else can I say? Like music. People
Mm-hmm.
love to do it on music. So like what's your kind of stuff on music do you like to listen to?
It's kind of all over the board because I actually run some live event music, and every time we do a show, that artist might have been someone that I'm not a fan of in the past, and then once you see them live and you actually get a chance to interact with them, you end up becoming their biggest fan.
Oh
So it is
yeah,
all
me
over the
too.
board. I like good music from anyone, but probably good indie rock. I think would be my favorite if all things are considered equal.
Yeah, you ever heard of Maddie Indrid or Maddie
No.
Indri? She's a really good
Uh-huh.
musician, and there's like um Maddie Indri, I think indie music. So Maddie Indri is a good person. I'll send you her things.
Mm-hmm.
She actually just posted like a new thing on Spotify. Like I listen to a lot of indie music. I listen to like theatrical music, like dramatic. Like, you ever listen to the trailers and like you ever wonder what the kind of music that is or stuff? That's what I kind of listen to. Because I love because once I heard that Starman on Buzz Lightyear, I was like, I gotta listen to it. Because it really helps me get into my mojo of writing. Because it really gets me into that theatrical writing my stories and stuff. So when I'm writing, man, I'm like, I could be writing for an hour or two and just keep on doing it. I love.
Big time, yeah. That is probably the best impetus for creativity. I think is that theatrical music, the live orchestra, and it's designed to be that way. You know, each one of those songs is designed to kind of tell a story in the way that it goes. You know, it's not so much about like making songs for them when it's going to be used in a movie, but it's more about really telling the story. You know, if you use like the example of like the Lord of the Rings with all the music they have in there, you know, each song is really part of the story and really expresses it well and has a beginning and a middle and an end. So yeah, it really is designed to increase creativity.
Did you hear that that Amazon Prime is making a Lord of the Rings series?
No, but that doesn't surprise me. That's a huge cash cow.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they have to pull a lot of views to have it be successful, and because it's got to be like a huge, like you said, huge cash cow with loads of money, and like you kind of are like doing it like crazy, and so yeah, thanks for talking to me. Thanks for being on my podcast, and I hope this podcast ended well. Yeah, so and anytime you want to come and talk on my channel, please let me know and we'll schedule it.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. It was good chatting with you.
You too.
And feel free to visit my website, wondercleveland.com, and come visit the museum anytime.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Talk to you later.